Okay, engine stop. ATA at a descent. Mode control, both auto descent.
To go beyond that first historic moon mission, future astronauts would have to be able to make precision landings at locations dictated by science.
We copy you down, Eagle. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
They had to learn to touch down safely on landscapes filled with all kinds of rocks and craters. For Apollo 12, the science pointed to a corner of a vast region known as the Ocean of Storms, 1,300 miles from where the Eagle had landed. The landscape is dark, from an ocean of lava that cooled to form its flat expanse billions of years ago. Over the eons, violent impacts had remade this and other lunar landscapes. Here, an impacting asteroid had hollowed out Copernicus crater, perhaps showering the region with subsurface rocks, containing clues to the moon's geologic past. To sample this treasure trove, the astronauts would land at a series of smaller craters about 45 kilometers away. On the edge of one was parked an unmanned lunar probe called Surveyor 3 that had landed there 2.5 years before. Conrad and Bean, aboard Intrepid, dropped down toward their target, a stretch of moonscape informally called Pete's Parking Lot.
I got some kind of a horizon out there. I got some craters too, but I don't know where I am yet.
Looking down from the command module, Yankee Clipper, astronaut Dick Gordon spotted it.
80 feet, coming down at 4. You're looking good. 70 feet. Looking real good. 63 feet.
Piloting Intrepid, Pete Conrad could not actually see the target. From his perspective, it was below his feet on the other side of a roaring engine. He would rely on improvements in the ship's landing radar to find his way to touchdown.
Coming down at 2. 40 coming down at 2. Looking good. Watch that. 31, 32, 30 feet. Coming down at 2 feet. You got plenty of gas, dude. Hang in there. 30 seconds. 18 feet, coming down at 2. He's got it made. Come on in there. 24 feet. Contact light.
Roger, copy contact.
You get those regs close, dude. The regs are close. Good landing. Pete, outstanding, man. Asteroid.
4.5 days away from Florida, Pete Conrad and Alan Bean had landed on the moon.
It's a nice place to land. Look at those boulders out there on your right, Pete.
At 5 feet 6 inches tall, Pete Conrad was the shortest astronaut in the Corps, but he found a way to make light of both his stature and of Armstrong's famous "one small step for a man" statement.
And that may have been a small one for Neil, but that's a long one for me.
Of course, size does not matter in our capacity for wonder.
Take it easy and watch what I'm doing. Boy, you'll never believe it. That's what I see sitting on the side of the crater. The old surveyor, huh? The old surveyor, yes, sir.
You have to realize that the very first thing the heat was on to make sure we landed next to the surveyor. Didn't see it on the way in, so it wasn't until I got out that I got around to see it. But obviously, having seen it, I knew it was all downhill from there. I mean, I knew we were going to get the job done.
I have the decided impression I don't want to move too rapidly, but I can walk quite well.
The fact that we were on solid ground and we were out doing another thing it didn't make any difference that it wasn't the Earth. It was a very secure and very pleasant feeling. So it didn't really dawn on me until I got there and actually experienced the fact that, gee, we're not flying, we're on the ground, and so this is a super place.
And the world might have experienced it too, courtesy of a color video camera designed to send live coverage back to Earth.
And pointing towards the sun, that's there. Here a minute.
Unfortunately, that camera caught the full glare of the sun reflecting off the shiny surface of Intrepid, and its sensitive imaging tubes blew. The television networks canceled their coverage, and millions of viewers on Earth went about their day, which left Conrad and Bean to go about theirs.
Oh boy, I want that rock. There is a dandy extra grapefruit size type goodie.
The astronauts spent the first of 2 4-hour moonwalks setting up science and communications equipment, taking photographs, and choosing rocks to bring home. There were discoveries and surprises aplenty. One was a series of mounds out in the open.
Hey, there's another one of those mounds over there. Where? Hey, you're right. What do you suppose they are? I don't know.
Perhaps ejected from the craters upon impact. Then, about 2.5 hours into their assigned tasks on the surface, the astronauts flipped their wrist-mounted checklists to an unlikely page, placed there by Apollo 12's backup crew. This little prank hardly distracted from the central goal of the mission, to search among the craters for clues to the very origins of the moon. At the time, there were 3 leading theories. One was proposed back in 1878 by George Howard Darwin, son of Charles Darwin. Darwin's idea was that the Earth had spun so fast in its early years that a chunk had flown off, yanked by the sun's gravity. Another scientist expanded on Darwin's theory, speculating that the Pacific Ocean was the scar left behind by the moon's birth. Then, early in the 20th century, an astronomer named Thomas Jefferson Jackson proposed that the moon was once a wandering planet captured by Earth's gravity. A third theory held that it had formed side by side with the Earth, from the cloud of rocks and dust orbiting the infant sun. If so, the two would have been dancing partners since the beginning of the solar system. Finding out which theory was correct would yield clues to the formation of the solar system at large.